Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Darwin Incident episode 10. This time it's called The Door to Accelerated Advancement. Interesting. So last time we had a bit of an action episode, is probably the best way to put it, where Max kidnapped Lucy and then Charlie went and hunted him down and tried to find Lucy. He took out a bunch of the men, he put on these night vision goggles, it was really cool. And then Max revealed to Lucy that he knows some secret about her past that she's obviously not very happy about. So what is that? I have no idea. I had some predictions. Is it going to be, was she very anti-humansy in the past? Was she coming from a slave owner family or something like that? I don't know. Has she killed someone before? Who knows? But Bluebeard's door is apparently going to be opened because that was the reference that I think the title was referring to, right? Door to Accelerated Advancement. Anyway, let's just get started. Man, there was so much cool directing last time. What did he find? It can't be anything too crazy, because she is just like a normal girl. Ooh, creepy look. What? They're not gonna tell us? Oh my goodness. Interesting shot. This guy is gonna get destroyed by Charlie. I hope, at least. He did pretty good. It's crazy how this show has good fighting. But the rest of the animation is so, like, nothing like this. Oh, he got a hit in. Wow. Yes, there is this entire perspective. I was wondering when they were going to touch on this. I did not expect this guy to care about this at all. It's interesting. I didn't expect him to be such a hardcore actual believer. Is he trying to deceive him? True. That's an interesting point. Jesus. That was creepy. Oh my god. Jesus. Oh. Wow. I don't know, she drank that water last time, looked a bit suspicious. Yes, I want information, oh my goodness. Good music. Man, this show continues to have great music. Holy. I remember that. Makes sense. Interesting, okay. That kind of makes sense, okay. I like this diagram. Okay, so he was involved back then, it's interesting. What does he want? Interesting. He's aligned with Max, he wants to advance evolution. So it's a wild thing to predict. Where is he now? Oh my goodness. But to what end? Is evolution for the sake of evolution just like worth it? Like, I wonder why. Oh my god. Rivera. Max is gonna kill this guy. Undoubtedly, Max is gonna kill this guy. He's gonna shoot him in the head. Oh my god. Okay, Max got him first. Oh no, the police got him. Okay, I was not expecting that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right. Yeah, but is Charlie gonna let him be arrested? He wants to meet his dad, right? Maybe, but he doesn't really have attachment to the world. Oh my goodness, I don't know. Oh, great. I love this. We love Lucy. She's smart. Hey, I don't know about that. You probably should read him as rights. Things are going too well. I'm a bit worried. I don't know about this. Max is impressed. No, I hope they better be okay. These damn neighbors, man. Jesus. These damn racist neighbors. Oh my god. If anyone's in there, they're gotta be dead. Okay, no, I guess not. The whole house isn't on fire. Can he save them both? I mean, they might just be dead already. That guy's a small face. No. Oh man. That's actually so sad. Man, how's Charlie gonna respond to this? Just run. I don't blame him at this point. Do whatever you need to do, Charlie. Holy. What is he feeling? This guy, my god. How did he... Oh my god. Murder. Literally, this is what you find. Oh my god. Man. Holy. That was a crazy episode, my goodness. So I took a little bit of time afterwards and I wrote some notes. I have some stuff I want to talk about this time. Firstly, Charlie's parents are actually dead, or at least that's how it seems. I guess there is a chance that maybe they're not dead and there's like some more bigger conspiracy that the ALA is like planning this. I don't think so though. I think they are probably dead. I feel like Charlie would probably recognize his parents and then maybe the fire would have messed with that. I don't know. I'm going to assume for the time being, like probably until I am proven otherwise in, who knows, 10 seasons from now or something. These parents are dead. And it is a very crazy thing. Firstly, just in terms of story, it is very tragic and legitimately sad because, like, we're never going to see specifically Charlie's mother. We're never going to see her kind of be excited that Charlie has a friend again. You know, like those scenes like that she has specifically with Charlie have been incredibly cute. Like her being so nervous in those opening few episodes of him like going to school and stuff. Like all of that stuff is some of the best stuff in the show. And it is crazy that's just going. Like, it's not going to be a thing anymore. Yeah, like, and it's not like someone can replace them. Like, they are the people who raised Charlie, right? Like, it's not like now he'll have adopted parents and, like, we're going to be, like, he can have a nice relationship with them. Like, it's not going to be the same. Like, it's actually crazy. I would never have predicted that it would happen this soon, and that his parents would die. Now, this is all based on the assumption that I guess this development here that they are dying really makes it feel like it must be like a one-season thing, is my guess. Because if it's not a one-season thing, I don't know where the show goes from here. Like, there is no new normal now. Like, what happens? Like, where is Charlie gonna live now? like there's no more plan to, like, go and get get his rights by suing the government and stuff, because his mother's obviously dead now. Like, there's no one, like, to be on his side. Like, obviously there's Lucy, right? But Lucy's mum is gonna, like, make sure that she's protected instead of, like, being an advocate for Charlie or something like that, right? There's like no one there to like look after him and unconditionally love him, and like what do you do now? Like he doesn't have a place to go like after whatever he does. Like he obviously he's not going to go to school anymore. Like, and where does basically the question to me is like, where does the story go from here? We started with a school arc, right? And then the school arc somewhat ended with a very big tragedy. Then now we've gone into this kind of Charlie, I guess like the in response to the school like shooting and everything, the town kind of revolted against Charlie and ultimately led to the death of his parents. And I would assume the ousting of Charlie from this community, right? This feels like maybe the end of like the second arc in this story. But what happens next? And like, how many more arcs are there going to be? Like, I can imagine if this is a one-season thing, I could imagine maybe the final arc here being more about Charlie or someone, whether it be Charlie or Lucy or Phil or like someone utilizing the death of Charlie's parents to kind of advocate for peace amongst like all this civil warring kind of like stuff, like about the vegans and the anti-vegans. And I don't know, that's the only way I could imagine this kind of ending in like one season. Now, there is, I guess, a chance that this goes on for many, many seasons, and I could not even fathom where this, like, what will the next arc be? Well, I mean, the next arc is, like, somewhat, like, you could make a guess, right? I assume it's going to be Charlie's going to be on the run, or Charlie's going to be in hiding, or something like that. Maybe Lucy's going to try and find him, or Phil's going to search for him. Maybe there'll be, like, the government who's going to try and hunt for him, or whatever. Like, the search for Charlie arc, maybe that'll be a thing. I don't know. There's like it's completely open-ended. Like anything could happen. Like maybe there'll be a big news story and the government will be really involved and there'll be like like a national manhunt for Charlie, or maybe like literally he will turn himself into the police after like reflecting for a bit, and then he'll be like rehomed and there'll be like new owners, quote unquote, because obviously he's an object in the eyes of the government and all that. I don't know. This could go a million ways, but it is crazy that this happened. Like I don't know where this is going, in a broader sense. So, I'm excited though. But yeah. So that's the first thing. Charlie's parents. Crazy. The next thing is, I guess, Charlie's other parent, which is his biological father, Dr. Grossman, if Max is to be believed. And when I say Max, I mean, I wrote his name down. Where is it? Rivera Firebend, which I think is like a name that we're learning for the first time here. I don't remember it in any other episodes. I feel like if I did remember this, I would have written it down somewhere if it was like notable. I don't know how Phil knew it. I know obviously how the what did he call him? The general? I know he wasn't general. Like the sergeant guy or whatever, like the blonde guy that was like choking Lucy. Obviously he would know Max's real name, but how does Phil know? I don't quite know. Maybe it was like said, maybe the FBI told him, or it was revealed in that session there that I've just forgotten. But anyway, we got Max's name, but I'm probably just going to keep calling him Max because, it's easy to remember. But yeah. Now, what we learned about Dr. Grossman is that he basically he hired the ALA so that the ALA could break into his facility, take Ava out, and basically release her into the wild. Like when I say the wild, I mean like into human society, right? And Max's interpretation of why he did this is obviously the Bluebeard analogy that we keep referring to, right? That he keeps specifically referring to, which is that the idea that humans have this incredible wonder and curiosity for like what can happen like scientifically, like what happens if we open this scientific door, what happens if we open this scientific door, so on and so forth. And Max is likening the final door of Bluebeard's tale, which is the door where the woman who has opened all the other doors in the house and has enjoyed amazing bountiful kind of things from opening those doors. She opens the one door that the man who was giving her the key told her not to open, and behind it she finds murder and blood and disaster, basically. And Max has likened this door, this most curious door, the door which the woman of the tale was the most interested in opening, the temptation door, right? He likens that to human evolution. He likens it to genetic experimentation, right? So the idea is that both Max and Dr. Grossman are both trying to evolve humanity, or evolve like life on Earth, maybe more broadly than humanity, to be something different, something better, something like Charlie, I guess. Now, I don't quite I understand what they want. Like, I understand this. Like, most likely it's going to be evolution, right? What I don't understand is why. Why is it that, yes, Charlie is stronger. Yes, Charlie is potentially smarter. He's very smart. He's definitely stronger, though. Physically, he is far more capable. Why do we want more Charlies? Like, why is it a thing that Max and Dr. Grossman are striving for? That part I don't quite get. I don't think we have an answer. I think this is something that we will eventually get an answer for. Max is still obviously, he got out at the end. He broke free, he killed a bunch of people, referring to the Bluebeard door, and he created the situation that was behind Bluebeard's door, which is this death and like destruction and everything. But we'll find out eventually. I just don't know when that will be. Max is still out there. I'm sure Dr. Grossman is still out there. Where is he? I don't know. I have some questions at the end, so I'll save this till the end when we talk about actual questions. But that's my first note on Dr. Grossman. The next thing is that Max frames Dr. Grossman, or at least talks about him, as though he is a singularly genius man who can basically do crazy things and will evolve humanity to the next stage. And he speaks of him very highly in terms of like a scientist who is a genius, which is interesting because aside from Charlie, who is very supernatural or very like superhuman and stuff, the rest of this show is very grounded. It is a thing that is very grounded in modern American context, right? Even in small things like the technology that is shown, like the fact that obviously the school shooting is like another grounded element. All the anti-woke stuff I've pointed out, the protesting, the like civil disagreements online, and all these things just very grounded. And it is interesting that I can't tell if Max is meant to be foolish for this belief that Dr. Grossman is a singular genius, or if the show itself, like the story itself, believes that it is possible to have a singular genius like Dr. Grossman who is able to advance the human species just by his own genius, which is clearly, in my opinion, a very ungrounded thing. Science depends on past discoveries. Science depends on contemporary competition. Science depends on literal hardware that is developed completely independent of you. There is no modern like diagnosis of diseases without the invention of physics, right? Like the researchers in physics for the creation of things like MRI scans and And even just like simple things like x-rays, which are obviously not that simple, but back in the day, like they were invented a long time ago. A singular genius cannot advance science to the degree that it feels like Max is saying that Dr. Grossman can, right? So I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know if what we're meant to take away from this, if we're meant to like paint Max as kind of naively foolish, or if the show is kind of, in my opinion, a bit naively foolish. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just another thing. And yeah, to be honest, that's my last kind of stuff on Dr. Grossman, but it's interesting, you know? I'm glad to learn some more stuff. I thought this was kind of cool. Then my final section of notes, my largest section, is about Charlie's philosophy. So we got a lot more about it here, and it was when he was confronting the general guy, or whatever. I don't remember what he had a specific name for him. Max called him like commander or general or sergeant or some like military name, basically. Whatever. I have a quote here that I wrote down. This is what Charlie says. He says, "Human language is a highly versatile software, but even if another species could suddenly speak English, there's no guarantee you could actually communicate. I mean, I don't really feel any responsibility toward this world at all. I just kind of got tossed into it after all." So basically what Charlie is saying here is that a common framework for communication in the English language doesn't mean that there is an aligned morality, desires, or even a capacity for communication. Essentially what he's saying is that I've come up with like 3 examples here of like what could happen if animals were able to speak English, right? There's the example of like, what if a sheep was able to speak English, but all they would ever say is, "I want grass, I like grass, I want to eat grass, give me grass, I want grass." Like, and it's like, yes, they can speak English, they can communicate what they want, but is that really communication? Like, if a sheep is only capable of desiring grass, and that is the only thing is they're able to communicate with you, like, does it really, like, is that really valuable? Like, does it, the capacity for language doesn't mean that you will communicate, right? Like, the idea, like, the desires might be completely different, right? This is the first thing. The next thing is, like, what if those zombie ants were like able to speak English and all they would basically say is, "I want to climb to the highest point possible, and I want to grow a stalk in my brain, and I want it to expand out, and I want spores to go everywhere, and I want to infect everyone with these spores so they can all become like me." And like, clearly, yes, they can communicate, they can explain their desires in English, but their desires are very amoral. They are, you know, in opposition to what I would assume most people would want from humanity. You know, we don't want to become like the rest of the zombie ants, right? Yes, they can communicate, or if in this scenario, yes, they can communicate, their morality or their desires do not align with us, right? That's another kind of example. And then the last one is like, what if a deep sea fish who has never seen sunlight, they exist in the deepest trenches of the ocean, in a world completely separate to us, what if they were able to speak English? And all they could ever say is like random words in random orders, and like, yes, you can clearly tell they're trying to communicate something, but we can't understand what they're saying because their consciousness, their way that they experience the world is so different from us that the ability to use a common language is kind of irrelevant because the concepts they're trying to convey are just in no way captured or expressed efficiently in our language. So basically what I'm trying to give from all these examples is kind of convey the idea that Charlie's perspective, I think, if I'm understanding correctly, is that everyone is different. There is no objective morality. There is no objective experience of a life form on Earth. A sheep, a zombie ant, a deep sea creature, they can't agree on everything. There is no agreement in experience. There is no agreement on desires. There is no agreement on morality. And because of this, Charlie is deciding that he's going to live his own life, his own way, with no sense of responsibility to the world or to other people in it. Obviously, I don't agree with this perspective, right? Like, I like humans. I love communicating with people. But I can understand what he's saying. It is interesting. It's an interesting position to have the protagonist have, right? It is probably the most interesting of all the philosophies shown in the show. And this is a very, like, I would say, you know, a philosophical show. So it's interesting. I don't have anything to say beyond, it made me think a lot. It made me come up with examples that I thought were fun to talk about. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. But that's Charlie's philosophy. But this brings us to the questions. The first thing is Lucy's secret, which is something that I was certain was going to be answered here, but it completely just wasn't. Max hinted at it last episode. He's like, "You've got a secret, Lucy, or a secret past. Does Charlie know about this?" But we made no advancement on this regard whatsoever. Like, we don't, no hints, no nothing. My speculation is exactly what I said last time. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. The next question is, where is Dr. Grossman now? And I truly just have no idea. My guess would be either he's just like living a quiet life and letting things unfold on their own, or maybe he defected to another country and is like in Russia now or something. I don't know. I could imagine the show doing something like that. To be honest, I don't have a clear idea. I don't think the show has really hinted at where he might be, but yeah, so we'll leave it at that. And then the final question is, what is Charlie going to do now? So like I was talking about before, I think the clearest thing is that he basically experienced an extreme trauma here, right? First, he was like, you know, he almost died. He almost got choked to death by this sergeant guy. And then Lucy almost died in front of him, and basically he goes to his home is burning down. He's obviously very scared about what's happening. He runs in, suffers burns and stuff, but finds his family dead. This is like what, obviously this is incredibly traumatic. I can't imagine what he must be thinking right now, or feeling, I guess is the real question. So my guess would be that faced with such trauma of a scale he has never experienced before, I imagine he's going to go into the forest, like the safest place he can probably be right now, because it's like he is adapted to that domain, whereas humans are not really. And he's probably just going to like think about things, like probably just sit down and just think. That's all I can imagine he's going to do. Like the real question to me though is, I've been saying it this whole time. If you're like I'm a broken clock if you've been watching any of these reactions, but what capacity does Charlie have for emotions? I don't think we haven't really seen him express any. Clearly not on his face. His actions demonstrate them, right? His desire to like, or his love of his parents, or like a true genuine want for them not to die, like an emotion of kind of attachment and love, is very clear in how quickly, immediately, and thoughtlessly he jumped into the fire to save them, right? His like for Lucy is both expressed in words, in his desire to the general in this episode, where he said that he basically wants to go to school with Lucy despite like not having any attachment to humanity or anything like that. He has that, like, he obviously likes Lucy, right? Like, it's a positive emotion there. It's also demonstrated through his actions of like trying to save her and all that, right? And desire to talk to her and all that. We see basically his emotions in his actions, right? We don't see them expressed on his face. We don't see them expressed, you know, through crying and body language or anything like that. Like, there is no physical expression of his emotions. I am probably believing at this point that it is probably the point that I think a commenter made quite early on, or like a few episodes ago, which is that the point is probably that animals kind of animals can express emotions differently, you know? A smile for a chimp is not necessarily a good thing, right? It's a sign of aggression, whereas a smile for a human is something completely different, right? It might be that Charlie is able to express emotions, Charlie is able to feel emotions, but the way he does it is completely different. He's able to do it through his actions, he's able to do it through his words, but he's not able to do it physically, like through his body language or his facial expressions, right? This next episode is going to be one to test this, right? Like, what are we going to see? Is he going to cry? Like, if he cries, it's like, it's done. It's like he can feel emotions and he can express them on his face. I don't know. I'm just so curious if it's going to be a thing, or maybe it's completely not going to be a thing, and that would also be interesting. So yeah. Now, the other question of what is going to happen with Charlie next episode is like, firstly, I assume the story of his parents' death is going to become a news thing. Like, it's going to be in the news, right? In the media. The question is, how big scale of a story, like how large scale is this going to become? Is it going to be a local news story? Obviously it will be. But is it going to become a statewide thing? Is it going to become a nationwide thing? Is it going to become an international thing? This I have no idea. And all of this is going to determine what scope the operation is to kind of bring in Charlie. Obviously, the FBI has commanded the police to kind of arrest him, right? But how dead set are they on this? Like, humanity is capable of capturing Charlie, like, and restraining him, right? It is possible. We have the technology. We can absolutely hunt him down, and we can arrest him and confine him in jail if the interest is there, right? If the federal government decides that they want Charlie, they will get Charlie. It is inevitable. Now, the question is, like, what is the desire? We don't actually understand why the FBI wants him, right? We don't know at this point. We can assume that it's because he represents a powerful interest in, like, terms of the civil unrest and all that, right? We don't know. It might be for some other reason entirely. But yeah, I think the question is, like, how big a scale is this kind of incident going to become? The Darwin incident. It's not really the Darwin incident. I was trying to make a good, nice sounding point there, but I guess actually now's probably a good time to reflect on the Darwin incident kind of name, because it's something I commented on, like, even back in episode 1. It feels like it's pretty obvious, right? The Darwin incident is the evolutionary incident that led to Charlie's creation. But now that, like, we've seen more of the show, we're seeing where it's going with, like, Max is talking about his philosophy on evolving humanity and all that. I wonder if the Darwin incident is more so, rather than the beginning point of this story, if it is the end point of this story. Like, the Darwin incident isn't about Charlie being born, it's about what Charlie being born leads to, which is, like, humanity evolving or something like that. I don't know. It could be. There is no reason that the show could become, like, pretty sci-fi. Like, it already is, like, in terms of Charlie, right? Like, could you imagine an end of this series where humanity no longer exists? We do, like, 100-year time skip, and everyone is, like, hybrid human Z is just like Charlie. Like, is it possible? Yeah, it is. Is it likely? I don't know. Probably not. But, yeah. I don't know. This episode gave me a lot to think about, which is good. I like when shows do this. There's only 3 episodes left. Kind of crazy, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the show. I kind of hope it wraps up in one season, but I'm probably, like, to be honest, with the fact that his parents died, I think early on I said, like, at the beginning of this review, I said that it probably means that it is almost certainly going to be a single season, but now the more I'm thinking about it, it could lean either way. It could be like, oh, this is a single season and we have, like, one small arc left, Or it could be like, this is the first arc of like a many arc story, and his parents were only a small part of Charlie's life, and there's gonna be so much more to it. Either way, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time.